And welcome to Hero Power. This is episode 78.2.
You got that, Bob? You got that?
And I am your host, Avantes. And as always, I am joined by my co-host, Zeroshio.
What is up again? Gay.
And Versika.
Did you even hear me before when I said we're only 22 away?
Yes,
You just
I
like
did.
A blank stare on your face.
Because,
like,
I was thinking
I'm
thinking like, holy crap, he's right. We're only 22 episodes away, and we need to start planning now. It needs to be epic, guys.
Well, I was like watching the expression on your face is like the realization was supposed to dawn over you, and all I saw was this blank stare. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not exactly the reaction.
That's
expecting.
about the time Boyd in chat said he couldn't hear me, and I was like, oh crap.
The show is already off the rails. We've not left the station yet, and it's already off the rails.
See, this is the kind of stuff you get in the pre-show. That's why you need to be in Twitch chat when we go live at like 7:15.
But the problem is that we were already in the show.
All right, guys.
Where were you at?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a great show lined up for you. We got a lot to talk about. We have iTunes reviews galore this week, guys. Thank you so much. We'll get to those in just a minute. And but first, Versika, tell us a little bit about Bioforce.
All right, so I was having an interesting conversation with a gentleman that came in from a company that works with our company. They came in to visit, and so I'm working at the back of my line, and this guy comes up and he says, "So I hear you're the computer guy," which is always scary because you never know what they're going to ask when they say, "So you're the computer guy." I'm just like, "Well, yeah, kinda." He's just like, "Well, I'm running a laptop and it's running really slow." I'm like, "Okay, well, what operating system are you using?" "Well, I'm using Vista." I'm just like, "Well, my advice to you as a computer guy is it's time to upgrade." He's just like, "Oh, okay." Well, because I was kind of thinking about getting an Xbox One, but if I'm going to get a new computer too, and I'm just like, "Hold the phone. What's your budget?" So he gives me the budget. I'm just like, what if I told you that you could get a computer that you could do all your computer stuff on, and you get a computer that's capable of playing the games that you want to play as well for within your budget? He just like, well, then I would tell you that I'm interested. I'm like, well, funny you should say that because I can take you to a site right now. So we logged in and I showed him the vector and I was explaining to him the internals, and it was actually really cool to be able to just go to the website, look at the middle tab, it's the internals for the vector, and it brings up all the specs for it. And then there's this neat little tab over on the far right of it that tells you the games that you can play on high settings. And while his game wasn't listed, it's very similar to CSGO. So I was able to say, well, you're going to be able to play this game on high settings. It's going to look as good as it does on the Xbox One. And it was just a really handy tool. So I'm going to go ahead and say, we've talked to you guys about Bioforce. Most of you by now, if you're going to get a Bioforce machine, chances are you've already looked at them once. So my challenge to you now is, what about your friends? Do your friends need new computers? If so, use Bioforce Gaming's website as a tool. It's bioforcegaming.com. You can take them and to the website, and if you have a computer literate friend like the guy that I was talking to, it makes it easy to go over what's in the computer, what it can play, so on and so forth. Price is right there, and we'll talk more about that as we go to the video section.
Awesome. So, like I said, Zeroshio does not have to eat his beard this week. We have 3 awesome iTunes reviews, and so since we had 3, I thought it'd be kind of cool if we each took turns reading one. So, I'm going to start, Our first review says, "Great show" by Go Vols Faraz. And it says, "I've been listening for a while now, and since I'm an Android guy, I've never got a chance to leave a review. So today, while my son was sleeping, I grabbed his iPad and did this review. Keep up the good work, gang. You guys rock." Signed, BBH.
And BBH
is in chat, so thank you.
Thank Eddie. Thank Eddie for leaving a review with his iPad.
All right, Zeroshio, why don't you take care of the next one?
No Need to Shave Zero by Hathorel. As the son of Avantes, I'm not just saying this to get my allowance. Yeah, you are. Hero Power is one of the best and funniest Hearthstone podcasts out there. If you listen to it on the podcast app, make it half speed and let the fun times roll. Anyway, great job on the show. Remember, don't forget to use your hero power.
So, a little context to this. He comes into my office last week after the show while I'm editing and says, "Dad, you got to listen to this." And he starts playing the previous week's episode at half speed. It sounds like the three of us are completely inebriated and just drunk off our butts. It's hilarious. I don't know how he figured this out, but I laughed and laughed while listening to it. So, all right, Versika, go ahead and take us through the third one.
It's like not only is he stuck in the 90s with an allowance, he's like son of Kong or something. Okay. So, mine is Top Tier Podcast by Sherry3433. These guys pack a lot of fun and information into each and every episode. I especially enjoy the way they break up the podcast into audio and video versions. I can listen to the discussion and banter on my way to work and watch the gameplay when I can be a bit more focused. I learn so much watching them discuss and play the game. These guys love the game and their appreciation shines through. Thank you very much, Sherry3433. That to me means a lot. I like that people can tell that we enjoy this game and that we care about it, because I know sometimes we're kind of hard on it, but
yeah, to give a little transparency, we had a little trepidation when we decided the format where we would do kind of an audio and a video portion. We didn't know if that would be a good idea because we're kind of trying to spread ourselves out to a mass audience, and
no one was doing it.
Yeah, nobody was really doing it. They were either just doing video through YouTube or Twitch VODs, or they were just doing audio. So they weren't really doing audio and video as one big show. So we really appreciate that our listeners and viewers appreciate the format. And we'll keep doing it as long as you guys keep liking it.
Absolutely.
All right, so real quick before we move on to the next segment,
I've got
a story to share with everybody. Now, Avantes knows about this story, but Zeroshio hasn't been told yet. So this past Sunday, we had a fireside, and so we went up. We participated in the fireside, and it's a cold, rainy Sunday. So I text my wife, but as I'm leaving, and I'm like, "Hey, you want me to pick up dinner?" She's like, "Yes." I was like, "Well, what would you like?" She's like, "Panera." So I stopped by Panera. I order soup, and I'm waiting at the little counter for my to-go order, and I hear somebody say Hearthstone. So I'm in my Hero Power polo that we wear that's got Viforce's logo on it, the Hero Power logo, and our name across the back. I also have on my Hearthstone hoodie. So I'm standing up there, I hear the word Hearthstone, and I look around, and I lock eyes with this little 7-8-year-old boy, couple of booths away, and he looks at me and gets the biggest grin on his face, shoots out a thumbs up, and says, "Don't forget to use your hero power."
Whoa!
there's the face on Zeroshio.
So I smiled at him, and I kind of gave him, the head nod and the thumbs up, and he just had this big grin. So I turned around and I dropped my hoodie back so he could see the name on the back of my shirt. And I turned around and he was like talking to his I guess it was his mom that was sitting across the table from him, really excited. So I thought about going over there. I actually had Avanti stocked with me. I probably would have gone over to the table just to say hi or something, but I didn't want to be that creepy old guy that stops by and disrupts a family dinner. But so if you're listening to the show, thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for making my day and shouting, "Don't forget to use your hero power" across a public restaurant. That was actually really awesome. I'm being totally serious. It was pretty awesome.
So cool. Oh, that's awesome. And that's why we do it. We do it so that other people in the community, bond together, and they enjoy our show, and they see we enjoy it, and they get something out of it. And that kid may, go to his siblings or back to school and say he saw somebody from a podcast he listened to. That's just really cool.
I just think it's great because you've been, since episode 1, you have made it your mission to say, "Don't forget to use your hero power."
That's
every
right.
Episode.
And he used my catchphrase. That's so cool.
Your catchphrase. So.
All right. Well, let's jump right into the news. We got a bit to talk about today, but the thing I wanted to talk about first was, I'm pretty active on social media. You guys have probably interacted with me at some point or talked to me. And I saw a question on Twitter this week from one of our followers that just kind of stuck with me. And I was like, you know what? This is something I feel like we need to probably touch on. So at Slitzlaw on Twitter said, "Never seen a more diverse meta. Yet there's more tech cards being played than ever before. I love teching, but is this really the best time?" So, for Sika, do you think this early in the meta is the best time for teching, or do you feel like we need to wait a little bit and let the meta kind of settle down?
Well, I love teching. And I feel like if you are going to if you're going to be a deck creator, the beginning of a meta is the best time, because that's before meta decks kind of take over, and that's all you see. So if you want to experience kind of what it's like to go into a tournament where you don't know the deck list, the ladder meta at the time an expansion hits is the closest thing that you're going to get to that. So if deck creation is something that you're interested in, or is something that you want to practice, now is absolutely the best time to be doing so. In fact, one of the most popular techs right now is the crawler that eats a pirate. So right now that is a very popular tech, and it's the best time for it because Pirate Warrior is still prevalent. Now, as the meta shifts, the Pirate Warrior will probably go down a little bit in popularity because it's been played so much, but also because people are wanting to play new decks. So if you were looking to try that tech, you're not going to get as much practice, so it may not seem like it is as good a tech as it probably is if you were to go to a tournament where it is still very viable to see Pirate Warrior. I think you're starting to see Mass Dispel, which I've always teched in, but you're starting to see it more prevalent. But I think you'll start to see things like Gluttonous Ooze a little bit later as the meta kind of stabilizes, and you see more things like, I'm hoping we start seeing some Obsidian Shard with some of the miracle play. We talked this weekend about Vine Cleaver several times when we were at the fireside, and it's one of those things that as the meta evolves, you want to have already practiced teching, and now is the time when you can practice teching and just not get as punished for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And our chat's rattling off some other great tech cards like the Hungry Crab against Murlocs, or Eater of Secrets is seeing a lot of play. Zeroshio, what are your thoughts on the current meta and the teching environment?
One of my favorite times in Hearthstone was when you really had such diverse, dominant decks that teching was almost a necessity. When Handlock was first in its prime, you always saw Big Game Hunter. When different types of Murloc decks were out, you saw Hungry Crab back in the day. You saw the Kazan Mystic when when what was the Secret Paladin was big. So then the meta got to a point where people started thinking it's stale and they didn't like it, and it was rock paper scissors Hearthstone is what people were calling it. You basically had 3 different types of deck that would just rotate beating each other. During that time, you saw no teching because there wasn't any good viable tech options. Well, now that Ungoro, Journey to Ungoro's come out, we are seeing teching being a viable option again because decks don't have to be so stringent on a specific number of cards, on a specific build. You actually have a lot more flexibility in your deck choices, so you can tech in viable cards. One of the options put in chat, I think it was by Inked and a few other people, was Hungry Crab. Today, and we'll talk more about it here in a minute, the Hearthstone Global Games, I can't remember which team it was, they played the Quest Rogue with the caverns below. Basically, what they did is turn 1, they brought out a Hungry Crab. Well, the bad thing was the opponents were playing the new mid-range Murloc Paladin. So it ate a Murloc right away. So they put out a couple Murlocs. It traded into one of the Murlocs. They bounced the Hungry Crab back to their hand, put it back out, ate another Murloc. Basically locked the deck completely out because they kept bouncing the Hungry Crab and finished their quest. Now they have a 5/5 Hungry Crab that eats every Murloc they put out. So I mean, that wouldn't happen if teching didn't become a new option. And I love that just one addition to a deck, that Hungry Crab, locked out a different archetype. Because there was a chance, because their opponent had an option of Paladin, if they picked Paladin, it likely would be Murloc Paladin, and they would lock them out. And I think it's very viable in tournaments, and it's because it becomes viable in tournaments, and that's usually where you see teching. You're going to see people emulate that on the ladder, which then makes the ladder more diverse. And I enjoy it. This is the most fun I've had on the ladder. Now, I will tell you it's very difficult to ladder right now because everybody's on there. And I saw today somebody was at Legend rank 14,000 something, which means there's over 14,000 Legends right now in North America because people are finding a way to get up to Legend now. But I'm enjoying it. This is some of the most fun I have had in Hearthstone since late beta and just after release.
Awesome. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say they're having a lot of fun in the meta right now with all the cards, and the fact that, and we've got something that we've not had in a long time in the meta, and that's 8-10 decks that are all viable and not just 2 or 3 that we've had like we've had in the past. So it definitely, I think, makes the meta a lot more fun. So Neonics saying, why are you throwing me under the bus, man? So, all right, but you were talking about the Hearthstone Global Games, and that picked back up yesterday. Was the they play on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. And this week we had Canada versus Belgium.
There were a lot of games.
There were quite a few. So why don't you take us through what you have for highlights, Sarosio?
The big highlights I have is that Canada defeated Belgium 3-0. This puts Canada's record at 2-0. And their match record at 6-0. They haven't dropped a single match yet, which is amazing. The closest to that is the United States, which is 2-0, and they're 6-1 in their match rating. So right now, North America is really killing it. They're playing some very impressive Hearthstone. Turkey and Ukraine are both 2-0 in their series with pretty dominant match victories. Some big upsets, though, is Kazakhstan with Naaman. They're 0-2. They're not doing really well at all, and they were expected to do well. Maybe not one of the the top end favorites, but they were expected to have a positive win rate going into the later rounds. And then Germany, the stacked team of Germany. Now there was some discrepancy with Germany where more popular votes got in and certain people wouldn't play with them, and then some drama built up and two of the people got knocked off of the team, so they picked up I think Super JJ and one other person I can't remember top of my head, but they have Super JJ and they have Life Coach. Right now they're 0-2, which is really surprising because they got a pretty stacked team. We've seen some really neat tech choices, some good games. If we talked about everything that was going great about this would be a 3-hour podcast. We'll try to give highlights every week on some of the really neat things that have happened. My favorite part, like I mentioned before, was the big teching of Hungry Crab into the Quest Rogue. That was very impressive. And there were just some really good plays throughout the entire tournament. Have you guys been watching it at all?
A little bit. And the deck we're playing tonight on the show actually comes from that tournament.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched a lot of week 1, but I've not been able to, or actually I guess it was week 1 and 2. I've not been able to catch a lot of this week's tournament. I've been really busy working on other projects. We've got stuff coming up that I've been trying to get prepared for, so.
Yeah, not gonna lie, preparing for Heroes 2.0 took up a lot of my watching time. So when I wasn't in Hearthstone and I was at the computer, I was trying to get those last minute levels to make the most out of the Switch.
Yes, absolutely. Heroes 2.0 dropped yesterday, and I would have gotten more practice in with this week's deck had it not been for that. So,
and if you haven't heard about Heroes 2.0, it's because you don't have a Battle Net account and you didn't get the email, and it hasn't splashed up on every single time you've opened anything that's Blizzard.
Yeah, so or it hasn't been, all over everything. Like every website I've opened has had ads for it, and so.
Yep.
Oh, really, when you think about it, it was probably the largest retooling of a game that I have seen that has been live for that long.
Yeah, Blizzard's doing great things right now with the recent release of Journey to Ungoro and Heroes 2.0. I think they're really hitting
Remastered.
The StarCraft, they're really hitting good spots. This isn't in the notes, but I just wanted to talk about this for a quick second. We're 3 weeks into Ungoro. What do you guys think about the meta, the way it's shaping up? Are you excited for the rest of Ungoro until the next expansion?
Well, like I said at the end of our previous segment, I love the fact that there are so many viable decks in the meta right now. That's something we've not had in a long time. Usually there are 2 to 3, maybe 4 decks that are just really super strong, and that's all anybody plays in the tournaments. Like, if you look at tournament deck lists, they're almost always the exact same 4 decks with a couple of outliers. Now, we've got, like I said, so many decks to choose from that you could have only a couple of people playing a similar deck list in a tournament lineup, which I think is fantastic for the game. Versika?
Ask me again after this next HCT. I think, to me, that will be what really defines whether Ungoro did what it was created to do, and that was to diversify a stale meta. Because if we get into HCT and 3 or 4 decks have risen to the top again, and that's what everyone is playing, and it's virtually the same deck list, then it's the same ice cream, different flavor. I mean, that's kind of what I'm waiting on. As far as the ladder goes, its impact on the ladder, it's destabilized the ladder in a way that I've not seen an expansion do. So that's good. It's given us a few good weeks of play where we're not having to play against the same thing over and over and over after Quest Rogue kind of lost its appeal, or all of those people took that deck and just rode it all the way to Legend. But now watching what I've seen of the global games and watching what I've seen of the collegiate series, it looks like there are variations of about 6 or 7 different decks. And if that carries on into HCT, then I think you can say that Angoro was a little bit of a success. And there was actually a question in chat from Boyd that said, is aggro still alive and healthy? And I think that until they change charge to match the description in Devilsar, I think aggro will still remain king in Hearthstone. It's just a matter of it's a matter of, can it hold the win percentage on ladder that it has held? Because what Angoro did give you were decks that specifically targeted aggro. They're weak against the other decks. So what you have to look at now is, are people going to play those decks that target aggro and be willing to just lose against the other decks? Or are people going to chance the aggro decks and just lose against those that counter aggro? It's going to be whichever one has more people playing it, and then we'll see how that balances out. But as far as tournament goes, we'll see when we get to the tournament setting who's bringing aggro, who's bringing control, and I think mid-range is actually sort of a black horse in this. I think mid-range could prove out to be the strongest of all 3 of the archetypes in a tournament setting. And so HCT will give us our first glimpse into that, and then we'll see how that interacts going into this second set, because I know a lot of people have made some blanket statements over Angoro and what it's done as far as defining standard. I think Angoro was paired with another expansion this year in a 2-part attempt to balance and diversify the meta in standard. So when this second expansion hits, which I believe was the 3rd expansion moved up into the 2nd expansion slot, then we will, I think, finally get a full picture of what Blizzard was wanting to do.
And that's kind of a point. I was actually hoping you'd bring up HCT. I'm wondering if Angoro kind of adjusted the meta and changed the meta in a way that's more diverse, or if it's really these formats we've seen, because we haven't really seen a very competitive solo tournament, singles tournament since the release. There's been a couple small ones, but no majors. All of the competitive scenes have been team-based, where they've required you to bring a deck from every single class. TESPA Collegiate Tour and now the HGG, the Hearthstone Global Games, are requiring each team to bring all 9 classes. Is that what's bringing out the diverse decks, or is it Angoro? I guess that's what we have to find out when the HCT starts back up.
Yeah, I think that'll be the trick, is when HCT comes around and the pros have to submit their deck list, then we're going to know which way they're leaning. And if it's diversified, then I would say that Angoro is a success on its own. But if it's not diversified, that doesn't mean that they failed. It means wait and see what this second expansion does, because like I said, I believe it's a two-step process into getting them where they want to go.
And just for the record, and I've said it before, I'm predicting a Dalaran themed expansion.
Dalaran themed, okay.
Or Kirin Tor. Gotcha. Dalaran or Kirin Tor.
Gotcha.
That's my Versika prediction, right?
As spoken on April 26th, when we're 2 to 3 months out from the new expansion. So, all right.
That's right.
All right. Well, that brings us to DreamHack Austin, which is this weekend. So, if you guys don't have any plans, make sure you are in front of your computers or your televisions or your phones this weekend. Tune into Twitch. It'll probably be on the Play Hearthstone channel. And all the DreamHacks are usually major Hearthstone events. So they're playing for a lot of points. It'll be a good event to watch and kind of gauge, as Versika was saying, what we may see in the HCT. I think DreamHack is a good indicator for that. And so
that's a good point.
It should be a lot of fun to watch. And get to cheer on all of our favorite players. So
and our favorite casters.
And our
like
favorite casters.
Cora.
Well, I know I was watching, like I said, I was watching a lot of I was watching Twitter this morning, and a lot of the players are starting to arrive in Austin today. And so should be a lot of fun to watch, guys. Tune in. Starts on Friday and runs through Sunday. So
yeah, it's customary for a lot of the big teams to rent a house or rent or get hotel rooms, but usually rent a house and get there on Wednesday, usually party it up Wednesday night, and then tomorrow morning they will immediately hit the grind, start practicing their matchups, and get registered early Friday and just be ready to go, for lack of better terms, balls to the wall all weekend, because DreamHack is very intense when it comes to the Hearthstone Grand Prix, because they do 9 rounds of Swiss over the weekend. So if you do well, you will play nonstop Hearthstone the entire weekend.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right. That brings us to this week's Tavern Brawl, which is Servant of Yogg-Saron tryouts. This is a repeat brawl. Help Yogg-Saron find a servant. Your deck is full of wannabes who will cast a random spell at a random target when played. So this is an RNG brawl. Go in, get your pack, have some fun, get out, run away.
I had a ball
screaming.
with it. I completed. I had 3 days of quests stacked up, and I got all 3 of them done.
Nice. All right. So that brings us to this week's deck list. So as Versika hinted at earlier in the show, this is a deck that was played in week 2 of the HGG by Team Mexico's Epsylon. She piloted this deck really well and actually got Mexico's, I think it was their only win in that match, but this deck is a mid-range Curator Hunter, and when Curator hit the board, the casters absolutely lost it. They had no idea what was happening, and you could tell it threw their opponents off as well.
Curator, though, I don't think they were surprised to see Curator as they were with what Curator brought to the hand.
Yeah.
Because when Ysera hit that hand, if she was playing against Priest, when Ysera hit that hand, it was the casters just went crazy. And in fact, if you've not watched this match, you really should go back and watch it, because there was some really fun moments in the match. There was some great gameplay too, but there were some really fun moments in the match. And when she played Ysera, the reaction from Poland was great. But when he played the turtle, the ninja turtle, and one of his discovery choices was mind control. So he chose mind control, and of course it goes on a random target. And the expression on Epsylon's face when the mind control hit the board was great. And
so, I remember this.
It didn't hit Ysera.
No, the options were Ysera, Scavenging Hyena, and Savannah Highmane, and it grabbed the hyena.
Yep. The worst of the 3. The one highlight for me this whole match, I think I talked about it last week, was she would make little pray motions on her opponent's turn, hoping they didn't have answers, and she could do a little dance when something happens. She was so much fun to watch, and she's highly skilled at the game, and that was just she's just awesome. She's just really good.
Yeah, great player.
We do have to give a big shout out to Epsylon. We did mention on Twitter today that we're going to play her deck, and she gave us a shout out on Twitter telling us she was glad we enjoyed the deck. So.
Yeah. So let me give a rundown of the deck, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the finer points of how it plays. So the deck is 2 Alley Cats, 1 Fiery Bat, 2 Jeweled Macaw, 2 Bluegill Warriors, 2 Crackling Razor Maw, 2 Kindly Grandmother, 2 Scavenging Hyena, 2 Animal Companions, 1 Deadly Shot, 1 Kill Command, 2 Murloc War Leaders, 1 Rat Pack, 1 Unleash the Hounds, Barnes, 2 Hound Masters, Finja the Flying Star, 1 Tundra Rhino, 2 Savannah High Mains, the Curator, and of course, Ysera. So, you're seeing a mid-range hunter with the Murloc package and Curator and Ysera. This is not something that you see every day. I mean, that's why it's so kind of out there and surprised so many people, but it's a lot of fun to play on top of that. So I know we've all been playing it. Zeroshio, why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about how the deck's been working and what you're looking for, and just tell us your experiences with the deck so far.
Well, I'll tell you, one big thing is, at my rank right now, which I'm hovering between 5 and 4, the big deck I'm seeing a lot of is Miracle Priest. This deck, while it looks very convoluted and a little spread out, it wrecks Miracle Priest. They basically can only beat you off of a lucky draw off of, was it Lyra?
Mm-hmm.
Off of Lyra, and if you can eliminate Lyra quickly, which Deadly Shot and Kill Command are perfect for, then you pretty much neutralize that deck and you just run over them. I've only played about 6 games with it because I haven't had a lot of time with it, but I'm 4-2, which is about a 75% win rate. So, or 67, sorry, math. 67% win rate. And I'm enjoying the deck a lot.
Okay, Rasika, you had a chance to play it?
Yeah, actually, I've actually played with it, and I've actually played against it with said Miracle Priest. And one of the things that, like Zeroshio said, this deck really almost targets Priest. There's so many 4-drops in it. It's so hard for Priest to deal with everything that this deck throws out as far as consistent, constant threats. The deck is designed to trade and hold the board, which Priest never really has a lot on the board at one time. So it's very targeted towards that mid-range Miracle-style Priest. So we were talking about tech earlier. So in this deck, Ysera against a Priest, now that Entomb has rotated out, it's virtually impossible to get rid of. That being said, Shadow Visions is the key if you're playing against this deck. Shadow Visions, if you get Inner Fire as an option, which I've actually started putting Inner Fire in all of my Priest decks now, as a tech card to pair with Shadow Word Death, because I'm having such a hard time controlling 4 power minions. So adding Inner Fire in gives you a 2-card combo that allows you to get rid of those pesky minions, especially Ysera, because without it, you can't deal with Ysera.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's actually a good combo in Priest for the Primordial Drake because it's a 4/8 taunt. Yeah, I never thought of that before. Putting in Inner Fire specifically for the combo with Shadow or Death. I like that.
Yeah.
But I would say with this, you only have 1 Rat Pack, you only have 1 Unleash the Hounds. Be patient with them, but control the board. This deck will punish you if you misplay.
My favorite card in this deck is probably the Tundra Rhino. Because you haven't seen it a lot lately. A lot of people have kind of forgotten about it. And late game, if you've got like a kindly grandmother on the board, because a lot of times I'm finding my opponent just ignores it and leaves it up as a 1/1. And I can drop the Rhino, run the kindly in, kill it, spawn the 3/2, and then run the 3/2 into face immediately for sometimes lethal.
You can also pair this with Rat Pack. Run the Rat Pack in, and then run the rats that you get off of Rat Pack. Tundra Rhino gives all the beasts in this deck the most powerful and broken ability in Hearthstone. If you don't, it is it is one of those cards that if you can't use it to win, you need to use it in a board clear that you can't clear with Kill Command or Deadly Shot.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Command in this deck rarely goes to the face. It's meant to clear minions and to empower your Scavenging Hyena.
Yes, exactly, and it's just a lot of fun. So, I want to. I'm going to actually drive tonight, so we're going to play this deck here in just a minute. Before we do, though, Zeroshio, you have any last thoughts about anything we talked about today?
No, I'm just really excited for competitive Hearthstone. The Hearthstone Global Games is so much fun to watch. It's giving me great ideas for decks. You're seeing a lot of tech options in there because of the format. I think esports and Hearthstone is on the rise again, and it's going to hit its peak this summer. I'm really excited. I want to see what happens at Dreamhack Austin to kind of give us an idea what might happen at Dreamhack Atlanta this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. For Sika?
I actually just kind of want to piggyback on what Zeroshio said there for a second. If you are a fan of Hearthstone, but you feel like you're not really that great at it, or even right now, Heroes is in the same boat. If you're just learning to play the game, or you're playing it and you don't feel like you're getting to play it at the level you really want, the best way to learn to play these games is to watch the pros do it. Dreamhack is a great chance to use Twitch, log on, watch these guys play, and try to figure out why they've done what they've done. And it's advantageous for you in the sense that you get to see the opponent's hand. So when you're watching them play, you know what's in the opponent's hand, and you get to watch them navigate around the possibilities that the opponent that they feel like the opponent has in their hands. So it's a great opportunity to watch and learn. Same with Heroes right now. The HGC has started phase 2. You've got the new Heroes 2.0. If you're wanting to really learn how to play these heroes, you can get in there and watch these guys and really get a chance to see why they call the shots that they call, why they go where they go, why it's important to soak up here, and the announcers help you understand the train of thought. So if you're looking to play one of these two games, there isn't a better time to learn from the pros than at a tournament like HGC, like the HCT in Hearthstone, or an event like Dreamhack that's got coverage and it's got announcers coming in, professional announcers who it's their job to know Hearthstone. It's their job to know Heroes. Watch and learn. It really is the best way to improve your game.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I believe that's going to do it for us this week. So if you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening to us via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. And you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. And if you enjoy the show and you'd like to support and improve it, or you would like to hang out with us in our patron-only Discord where we are always talking Hearthstone, or participate in the Hero Power patron tournaments, you can find more information on all of that at patreon.com/HeroPower. And until next time, we'll see you again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
I don't know what that was.
What?
That was some kind of weird enabling for Zeroshio.
Was that?
That was such a weird segue. I'm still trying to figure out what happened.
All right. Well,
I wasn't muted, was I?
No, you weren't
No.
muted. So while
Oh, so more about the Avanti setup. It's kind of like he couldn't decide whether to throw it underhanded to you or just kind
Yeah.
of lob it in there
Yeah.
overhanded. So he did kind of like some funky sidearm knuckleball thing and just
Yeah.
hoped that you could hit it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, while we set everything up here, why don't you tell us a little more about Viforce?
All right. So we talked earlier in the show about going to ViForceGaming.com and using the website to kind of show someone what to look for in a computer. So let's just say that you've got your mom or your wife or your girlfriend, and you're wanting to hint that you really need to upgrade your system. If you take them to ViForceGaming.com, the website is very easy to navigate. You can go to the products page, and you can show them each system. It's got the price right there as far as how much it is. It tells a little bit about the system in the overview. You've got the internals button, which talks about the parts inside, and you got the games that it can play. I used to work at a retail video game retailer, and we had what they call the grandmother customers who would come in, and they really didn't know anything about what they were in there to find, and they actually relied on the salesperson to help them find it. Well, the problem with relying on a salesperson to help you find a game is that they usually have their own best interest in mind as well. So this is a chance for you to get there before the salesperson. You can go to ViForceGaming.com, show them exactly what you're looking for, and that just enables them to go there at a later date and purchase what you're looking for. So remember that website, ViForceGaming.com, or you can go to our website, HeroPowerHS.com. Click on the ViForce link. It will take you right there.
All right. Awesome. So let's play some Hunter, guys. I'm stoked.
Yeah.
You know what? We've not been excited to say that in a very long time.
I know, right?
Hunter's in this good spot right now. And there's a few variations of Hunter as we see from this deck here.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for Hunter right now. I'm excited for all the classes right now.
It's funny because Sunday, one of our players asked us how many wins we had with each class, and I was like, I don't really know. And I got to looking, and I was like, I haven't built a Hunter deck, so I don't know just yet. So I came home and built this deck and started playing it Sunday night.
Hunter versus Hunter, starting off right.
Oh, all right. So opening hand.
Oh wow.
Wow!
Okay.
Wow!
So I would only throw back the bluegill.
Okay.
Is two kindly grandmothers not too clunky, or is it because we have the coin?
Because we have the coin.
Okay.
First turn
Makes
kindly,
sense.
second turn kindly.
And
The
you
only
want the
thing
blue? You want the bluegills for Finja?
Yes.
Yeah. The only or is curator.
Yeah.
The only thing we would want to be replacing kindly grandmother with would probably be the jeweled macaw. So
Okay.
I would coin out kindly grandmother right off the bat. So one of the things so he threw out the jeweled macaw. One of the things that I normally do each week. Oh, Ysera is such a bad draw.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that really affects the power of curator. But no, one of the things that I was talking to the guys before the show, it was normally I deep dive into each one of these decks. I do extensive research on it. I go and find people that's played it. I mean, literally watch hours of gameplay on a deck before we bring it on the show, unless it's a homebrew of some kind. If it's a homebrew, I usually spend hours playing it. This deck, because it's so unique and because we've only ever seen Epsylon play it, a little bit harder to do, so bear with us just a little bit.
So he adapted the jeweled macaw off the crackling razor maw, giving it +1/+1.
Mm-hmm.
So he's off to a really good start with this deck. So
Yeah, he's
so
off to a real good start.
what I think, I'm looking at this and I'm looking to see how we can put him in the most awkward position possible.
what about running kindly into the 3/2, which spawns our 3/2, dropping the other kindly? Then he has to choose. Does he want to kill off the 3/2 with his 2/2 and hit us for 3, or does he want to trade his 3/1 into our 3/2 and hit us for 2?
Yeah, if you drop the other Conley and run ours into the 3/2, his best option is a complete board clear.
Yeah, I like it. Well, his best option, yeah. It'll still leave our 3-2.
Yeah, his best case scenario, unless he's got a spell in his hand that's going to alter the board in some way, is to go ahead and just clear and lay down something that will challenge our 3-2.
Eagle horn bow. That'll do.
Eagle horn bow. Yep. Oh, he's just gonna go face?
Oh, that's interesting.
Ooh. This gets punished by Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah, actually, it does.
I mean, he's got Eagle horn bow for our big bad wolf.
But it's still going to mean that he takes 3.
Yeah. What do you think of the Unleash the Hounds, or do you like Animal Companion better?
Well, what is your best choice with Animal Companion? It'd probably be Misha, right?
Yeah, and you'll leave a 3-2 and a 2-4 and still have his 3-1 up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You net 1 extra point of damage, and you've used Animal Companion now. I would rather use
so we're going to Unleash the Hounds.
I like it.
We're going to run the 1-1 into his 3-1.
Mm-hmm. We'll just clear the board.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter what runs into what.
Okay.
Yep. He pretty much has to use his last charge on the 3-2.
What we wanted to make sure was that he didn't have a target for Houndmaster this turn.
Yes.
So now there's no way that we can clear both of those 1-1s. So if he's got a Houndmaster, it's going to happen. So
right. So do we just Rat Pack Jeweled Macaw? Or
I would Jewel Macaw first and see what we get.
Yeah.
I would like Animal Companion over it. That's bad. Because we don't even... Yeah. Do we run the bow in this?
I think I agree with Zeroshio. I think I would rather prefer the Animal Companion than the Rat Pack.
Because if we get Misha...
it's Leok.
And that's fine.
All right, though.
If he Houndmasters one of these, are just going to be a 3-3. Mm-hmm. And it won't clear Leok by itself.
Right.
That's really... I think the worst one would have been Huffer, to be honest.
Yeah, I think his best case scenario is throwing down an Animal Companion of his own and hero powering, hoping to get Leok himself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
the Silithid Swarmer is probably the worst. The worst beast we could have gotten.
Scavenging Hyena, I think, is the worst that could happen for us right now.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. The Direwolf's not too bad. It's good for him, but
still, in the end, I guess it's just bonus. He was playing with house money because he got it off the Jewel Call.
Yeah.
All right, so turn 5, do we Rat Pack, Hero Power, run the 1-1 into the 3-1 first?
Well, I would run the
1-1 into the 3-1 first. We know for a fact we're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Silithid Swarmer is a beast. It's a 3/5, can only attack if your hero attacked this turn.
Yeah.
If we were to draw a Houndmaster next turn, that creates a 5/6 wall that he's got to get through.
It does.
So
but we don't challenge the Direwolf Alpha this turn, though.
We don't challenge the Direwolf Alpha this turn, but if he deadly shots Rat Pack, we get very little value out of it.
Yeah.
I like using Rat Pack in conjunction
I like
with
that.
Yeah. Now we just got to pray for a Houndmaster top deck.
He's hovering over it like, what is this?
The important thing to note is that Silithid Swarmer, while it can only attack if your hero attacked this turn, it is a beast.
Yes.
So it does give us our interactions. It also enables our kill command if we draw it.
And he'll probably ignore it.
Yes, more than likely he will ignore it. Because he knows it can attack. Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl. I'll go for plus health. Oh, Divine Shield. That's
Oh.
not the same.
Oh, another war leader. That's not good.
So, we're at 14 health. He's at 22. If you're playing against our hunter, what's the thing that scares you the most? Out of our hand that we can play.
Right now?
Would it not be the war leader?
Probably.
I mean, if we double War Leader, that...
No, we're not going to double war leader because we have curator.
Right. So
there's only 2 Murlocs left in the deck now.
Rat Pack
So-
war leader?
Rat Pack war leader, and that war leader is probably basically going to be a taunt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's going to eat up the Divine Shield.
Right.
That was my only thought of double War Leaders, because they would make themselves 5/4s. We'll have Curator next turn. Basically, we lose the kill command regardless.
Mm-hmm.
If he has kill command, we're dead. But he would have done it by now.
He's just going to
Unless he's
send
just
it
bad at
off
math.
face.
There it is.
Kill command,
He
there it
does
is.
Kill
have it.
command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's playing the mid-range version. Oh, he's
Well, I mean, we're dead on
Player,
turn
player.
6.
yeah. That's the mid-range version,
So,
and he drew really good curve.
Yeah, he had a much better opening hand than we
Yeah.
did. Our stuff was much too high cost.
yeah, well, we have 2 cards in our deck that are over 6, and we drew them both.
That's correct.
You want Curator to draw Ysera for you.
That's correct.
You also want Curator to draw Murlocs for you.
And we drew
So
all
anytime-
of it.
Anytime
Oh,
you're
here we
drawing-
go. Here we go. Priest. And a good starting hand.
So keep the Jeweled Macaw. So we drew Savannah Highmane, Jeweled Macaw, and Kindly Grandmother. So I think we
Right, so
throw back the Highmane and keep the other 2.
I agree.
Yep.
And
Oh,
drew into Houndmaster.
yeah.
Where were you last time, sir?
You'd be surprised how much Kindly Grandmother gets ignored because it's a 1/1.
And our Jeweled Macaw gave us a Timberwolf.
It's not bad.
Mhm.
Priest has a little trouble dealing with minions early.
So do you guys
I like Fiery Bat.
Fiery Bat Timberwolf or just Fiery Bat?
No, hold on.
Yeah, I don't like the Kindly Grandmother here because they will likely steal it with Potion of Madness and run it
Right.
into the call and get the 3/2.
I like. Well, yeah, we could Fiery Bat Timberwolf. I was trying to think of a way to maximize our mana this turn and next, but like Zoroshio said, Kindly Grandmother, there's so big a possibility it gets just stolen with Potion of Madness.
I mean,
Probably going to have to save it.
likely what'll happen. See, the good thing with the Timberwolf is he can't steal the Fiery Bat now.
Correct.
Right.
So he
You
can't
can
steal
only
the Fiery
the
Bat.
Timberwolf or the Macaw.
Yeah. He can't steal a Fire Bat, run into one of our minions, and have it shoot another minion.
Oh, Curious Glimmer Root.
He's gonna get you, Sarah, and be like, "That's definitely not in their deck." Oh, they failed.
Yeah, he didn't get it.
He
He
probably
didn't
saw
get
you,
It
Sarah.
probably was Ysera.
Ooh.
So I think here we Scavenging Hyena.
Yes.
Trade the Fiery Bat into
Yep.
the Glimmer Root.
Trade it into the Glimmer.
Ooh, that's not good. I didn't think about that. Normally, that would make Scavenging Hyena a
A
4/3.
4/3, yeah, but because of the he
It's a-
can.
it
But
can
if
be death.
he wants to use a Shadow
That's
Word Death
fine.
on it now, he's not using it on a
Yes, sir.
Curator.
Curator or a Highmane later.
You know what? I think this is a great time to make that Jewel Macaw a 4/3.
I like it.
And you put that on the wrong... Nope, he's not a beast. Never mind. I was going to say you put that on the wrong side. But he is not a beast. Important to remember, Houndmaster is not a beast.
Mm-hmm.
And the Timberwolf is not like the Alpha Direwolf.
Yeah.
It doesn't do adjacent.
It can be anywhere on the board.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Priest of the Feast. I think that's a target for a Houndmaster and a Bluegill Warrior, don't you?
No.
No?
Nope.
Oh.
I think
Tundra Rhino and a...
I think it's time to Barnes.
Time to Barnes.
Are we going to clear the Priest of the Feast?
Oh, yeah.
With what?
Depending on what we get.
Oh, look, it's Ysera.
Oh!
Yeah.
And now he's like, wait, what?
So we're going to go ahead and clear Priest of the Feast. I know it's going to cost us our 2 4/3s.
Yeah.
But that's okay because we're going to get a Ysera card.
I didn't like it until we got Ysera. I will go on the record and say that would not have been the play I would have made, but the Ysera pull was awesome.
And we got Dream. He absolutely has to get rid of it this turn, or we pull Ysera back our hand.
There's the Holy
Yeah.
Nova. Yeah.
So Holy Nova, but that's okay because that means he's not clearing our Murlocs with it.
So
That's going to be good.
Tundra Rhino here, or...
I think we kindly Grandmother, Bluegill Warrior, Hunter Hero Power, and
What do you think about
giving 5.
Dreaming Barnes and playing him again?
We could get a high main. We could get Ysera again.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm good with that.
Attack first.
Attack first.
Depending on what we get,
And
we
then Barnes,
could-
and then maybe kindly Grandmother.
we could kindly or Bluegill depending on what we get.
Yeah, I mean, if we get War Leader.
Not as good.
I would kindly then.
Okay.
Yeah. Ninja Tech does not know what's going on.
There's another Glimmer Root. Now he knows.
Now he'll pick Ysera.
Now he'll pick you.
Yeah, he picks you, Sarah.
Oh God, I hope not.
Oh, he got
He
it.
got it. Uh-oh. That's the one thing about Glimmer Root is if you see something that's been played, then you know to play it. You know to pick it.
Yeah.
Or if you see it get Barnes.
All right.
Yeah.
So we picked up the Rat Pack. We have a Deadly Shot, a Bluegill Warrior, and a Tundra Rhino. He played a Northshire Cleric and, of course, the Glimmer Root. So we just go for the board clear here. Run the 3/4 into the 1/3 and Deadly Shot the 3/3? Or
No. No,
I don't think we
Deadly
play
Deadly
the
Shot.
Tundra Rhino and run in the 1/1 Razor Maw?
No. I think we Rat Pack, Bluegill Warrior, and clear.
Okay.
Run the 3/4 into the 3/3.
Wait, before you do that. How are we clearing the 1/3? Because I'd rather have a 3/3 instead of a 3/1.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Clear it
1/3
with Barnes,
the
then.
1/3 needs to die to prevent.
3/4 into
Well,
the 1/3.
Okay, so yeah, the rope's burning. Just do it Zeroshio's way.
And then 2/1, and I'd say the
Kindly Grandmother.
crackling. I wouldn't pop it yet. I'd save
Okay.
it for Tundra.
We're gonna miss it by 1 point.
Yeah. Sorry. That's some more. If we were going to trade in the Bluegill and the other one anyways, might as well do it into the 3/3 instead of chunking our. Because that.
We don't
keeps
want
us
him drawing cards
Yeah.
on the Northshire.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, so the reason now that the rope's not burning, the reason Kindly Grandmother I wanted to run it in was because he can't Potion of Madness Kindly Grandmother.
Right. Which doesn't look
Yeah.
like he has it anyway, which is good.
No, it doesn't. I just was looking at Tundra Rhino value with it.
Which I think
got-
now is the time for Tundra Rhino. Clear this, and then everything else goes face.
I like that. And then
Yeah.
we get hero power.
I would still pop that Kindly Grandmother though.
Oh, I'm going
Yes.
to.
Yeah, I would now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that the 3/2 can charge. And he already used a pain.
Potion of Madness, the Tundra Rhino. Actually, probably the Potion of Madness, the Rats.
Shadow Word
The other
Pain. The Tundra
Shadow
Rhino.
Vision. Now he got that off Shadow Vision.
Right, so he
Which
has
is-
another one.
And it's in his deck, not in his hand.
Oh, he got a Houndmaster off the Glimmer Root. Which is alright. We can just ignore that.
He had seen the Houndmaster, so. I say we just apply pressure.
Bluegill,
Well-
Alley Cat, Attack Face, and Hero Power.
I don't know
Well,
if
we know what he
Bluegill.
got now,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? I think
Yes.
it's okay to use Deadly Shot now.
Okay.
Because we know he didn't get you Sarah. Okay. That makes sense.
And then he's got Dragonfire Potion. That much you can pretty much be sure of.
For that
Right,
reason, do we save Bluegill?
I think we save Alley Cat. I think we go ahead and play Bluegill and Hero Power and force him to use it if he's got it.
Okay.
Because
And if
that'll
he
use
d-
the bulk of his mana. That'll only leave him with 3 mana. He'll
And
have
it'll-
to heal too.
It'll leave us with 2/1/1s on the board if he does it.
That's
Right.
correct.
So if he Dragonfires and heals, it puts him at 7. We can Alley Cat kill command if we need to.
Oh, he's going to try to go. This is a Lyra Priest.
Yeah, but he's a little short. Want to see if we can get poisonous off that? Because that'll win
Yes.
us the game.
Yep. Let's see if we get
On-
poison.
do it on Rat
the
Pack.
On Rat Pack. Yep.
Yeah.
No poisonous. But,
None of this matters then.
yeah.
None of it matters. Just pick one.
I mean, no, well, we could do 4 point. I would do Wind Fury and trade the Big Bad Wolf and the Bluegill and then go 4 to his face. That'll put him down to 1.
That's
Okay.
true. Yeah.
Plus our hero power.
Yeah. Leaves the elemental up, but it should be fine still. Doesn't have a lot of cards in his hand yet.
Yeah, but if he Lyra's,
He has to get real lucky.
yeah. He doesn't have a lot of mana to work with. Lyra will cost 5.
Second,
another Tar
second
Elemental.
Tar Elemental. Tar Creeper.
We use both our Bluegills.
Ha ha ha!
Let's try this
Maybe do
again.
it On a
Let's try
rat.
it again.
There it is. Ding,
Oh.
ding, ding.
That'll do it.
Ha ha ha!
Yeah. His deck's good against Priest.
All right, so we're 1-1. Let's get one more in.
I like that. And my spectate's bugged again.
Mine is too.
Man, why can't I ever get a StarCraft Pro? If I could just play Hearthstone against a StarCraft Pro, I'd be all right. All right, so we've got another hunter here, and our opening hand is Jeweled Macaw, Bluegill Warrior, Kill Command, and Animal Companion. And we have, of course, we're on the coin, so
I say we throw back Bluegill and Kill Command.
I think
Yes.
that's probably the right decision.
I like it.
Sorry. I tried to kill the Spectate and it killed my
Client. Yeah. So we drew, we threw those back, and we drew Unleash the Hounds and Alley Cat in their place. Turn 1, he plays a Timberwolf.
Out of his deck.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So, do we Alley Cat or Jeweled Macaw?
I'd say we lead with Alley Cat since we have the coin.
Yeah.
I think that's probably not a bad idea.
Because if he loads up, we can go in and unleash the hounds and have
Yeah,
trade
so
possibilities.
he played a secret on turn 2 and went face. And we drew into Finja. Good. That'll be good
So
to have.
I would say that we test that secret with Alley Cat by running Alley Cat into the Timberwolf.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, so we know that it is
Probably
explosive
explosive.
trap.
Yeah. So
Could be Cat in the Hat.
trigger it with Cute Cat.
Yeah.
And then play Jeweled Macaw or Hero Power.
I would play Animal Companion.
Yeah, I like
would
coining the
in
Animal Companion.
Animal Companion.
Okay. And we got
Because
Misha.
we can Macaw Hero Power next turn.
Yeah.
We don't have to rush Finja. We want him to build a board before we Finja anyways.
All right. So he played Shaky Zip Gunner, which is Death Rattle. Give a random minion in your hand +2/+2. So do we stick with the Hero Power Jeweled Macaw turn?
I
Or
think so.
Macaw first.
Yeah, Macaw first, see what we get. A Bloodfin Raptor.
I would
Kinda
actually
like
go ahead and play the Raptor.
this one right here on my wall as drawn by Squishy Dragon.
Do we clear the Zip Gunner?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
would make him
do
clear.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
We
he's
send
not
4 to the face.
he's not a beast, so he's not going to be able to kill command it. Kill command Misha. That's really the important part to note. Is the Zip Gunner itself is not a beast.
Right. Oh, so he
But he can high roll.
he can high roll. Yeah. He got Leok off of Animal Companion. All right. So turn 4, we have Unleash the Hounds, Kill Command, and Rat Pack that we can play this turn.
Okay, so Bloodfin and Jewel Macaw, neither one of those are terribly important on the board as far as what they bring to the table. They don't really have a significant amount of board presence, but his Leok does.
Yeah.
I think we clear Leok with what we've got on the board and probably just develop Rat Pack.
I like that because that gives us options next turn to Tundra Rhino or Finja,
Right.
whichever fits the board better based on what he does.
Right. He plays Infested Wolf. So do we Barnes here or do we Finja here?
I think we Finja.
Well, so here's the deal with Finja. If we Finja here, he's got a beast on board, so that we will have to kill with Rat Pack.
Well, here's how I see this playing out. If we play Finja, next turn, we can run in the Rat Pack, play the Tundra Rhino, run in one of the rats, and then use Finja to kill one of his 1/1 spawns and summon our Murlocs.
Okay, I like that.
We'll have something to kill next turn with Finja.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was trying to think through, is there any way he can kill Finja while it's stealth, and I don't think he can.
I don't think so.
BBH says, lot of death rattles. Could we see Nazoth from him this game? Quite possibly.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
And there goes our rats. Oh, look at that taunt. That's a main deck beast, gentlemen. That is a main deck beast.
Yes, it is.
He main deck Silver Pack?
Okay, so hear me out. What about kill command the 1/4, run the 1/1 into the 3/1, run Finja in, and then just go to town on him?
Finja into Huffer?
Wait, hold on. What about Unleash the Hounds?
Okay.
Unleash the Hounds into Murloc War Leader.
I like it.
Okay.
So, Unleash the Hounds.
All right.
Run both rats into the ape
Gotcha.
Take out the ape with Finja.
Oh,
Awesome.
beautiful.
Okay, so now
That's a
take
lot
out
of
Heifer.
damage.
Take out Heifer. That's got to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take out the 3-1 with the other rat, or the other hound. Murloc War Leader, send
go
it all
face.
to face.
Yep. Perfect.
I like it.
He can still kill command, but what's he going to kill? I mean, he's going to kill command the war leader.
He's got to take out Finja, which he can now. That's okay, though.
That or the war leader.
He's going to go
this is
War Leader.
This is a rather basic deck.
Yes.
How interesting.
Oh, and he chunked the health off of the Finja. That's odd.
That's okay, because I say this turn...
We can't clear the turtle. That's why he did that.
Clear the turtle. So I think this turn we go ahead and Savannah Highmane.
Okay. And go face with Finja.
Go face with Ninja.
Finja did his job.
Yeah, he did.
All that's left is one war leader. Which a lot of times when people focus on getting rid of Finja afterwards, like he's already done his damage.
So he is going to adapt that turtle.
Either he's going to do Taunt or Wind Fury would be my guess.
I think Taunt or Poisonous.
I agree.
On a 4-9, I don't know if Poisonous is
Wind
that.
Fury it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, but he doesn't have the Taunt yet.
Nope.
That's 6, 11,
Oh, there's your Sarah.
13.
Are we one off
We
lethal?
die to 8, 11,
We can clear the 4-7.
13, 15. If he gets 1 point, if he gets one more thing of damage, then yeah, we're gonna have to clear.
We can use.
We can use the Tundra Rhino to clear the 3-2.
No, I would use a Tundra Rhino and Savannah Highmane to clear the 4-7.
What about using Tundra Rhino and Kill Command to clear the 4-7?
Yes.
Oh, that's good too. That's
And
good.
then
That's
the
great.
6-5 to
Yeah.
clear the 2-5.
Math. My math was one off on that. For some reason, I was thinking that was 6 damage, 7
And use
damage.
the 6-5 to what? Clear the 2-5?
Clear the 2-5.
Yep. We can use Sarah next turn.
Exactly.
Yeah. We
Depending
need
what
to
he
use Sarah
does.
next turn.
Ooh. Well, that's fine. Because we can, yeah, that's fine. We can use the hyenas.
Yeah, I would go ahead and
Are
Use
we going to
Sarah.
use Sarah this turn?
Never mind. He conceded.
Oh,
All right. So 2-1.
yeah, it was good. Yeah, he looked like he had a rather basic deck. Up to 15, though. That's pretty good if he's playing that deck up to 15. Think if he had better cards.
Yep.
well, at 2, he could be just trying to complete his hunter quest, and since he's on the ranked floor,
That's true.
you don't have
That's
to
very
worry
true.
about dropping.
Yep. All right. Well, that's going to about do it for us this week. Do you guys have anything you want to, any last minute things you want to talk about before we go? Zeroshio?
Bug again.
This deck is fun. Definitely check out Epsylon. She's a streamer from Mexico. She's very good. I believe her stream is in her native tongue, but she's proof that female gamers are not just female gamers. They can be very competitive, good at the game, and definitely have great ideas when it comes to Hearthstone. So definitely check her out. Check her out during the HGG and see if Mexico can maybe, so far they're 0-1, but she has their only win for them. So she's really good. Keep it up.
All right. Versika?
I fell in love with this deck when I watched it because It has meta elements in it, but it is different enough that it isn't the same as everything else. For lack of just unable to explain what I'm trying to get across. I like that it's so different that when someone plays a Glimmer Root, they don't know what to pick. So that makes it my kind of deck.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
My hope is that he saw Ysera was like, well, it's definitely not Ysera.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. As always, if you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so already, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. And for more info about all the things we've talked about earlier with our patron Discord or our Hero Power patron tournament, you can find all that information at patreon.com/heropower.
I'm going to interrupt you. If you are a patron of Hero Power as of the beginning of this month, and you want to be in the tournament that is scheduled this Saturday, the 29th of April, we've sent out invites. We've sent out a message via Facebook group, Discord, and via the Patreon message. Sign up because right now we don't have a huge turnout right now, and we may need to reschedule if that's the case. So definitely be looking at the Facebook group and our Discord group for more information on that within the next 24 hours.
Yeah, go to the Hero Power Facebook group. There's a link with the password to the tournament. Go sign up, and we'll let you know if anything changes. But as of right now, we're looking at Saturday, the 29th.
Yep.
Should be a lot of fun. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.